Hi, everyone. Welcome to my very random, long awaited, or not awaited at all pop up video over a topic that you probably don't even want to hear, but I'm doing it anyway. So, for a long time, I've talked about time travel, and it's just something that's always fascinated me. I was into the whole idea of time travel in my teens. And then when I read Jack Finney for the first time, I really thought it was interesting how he used the idea of time travel through sort of mind control, your own structured thoughts, and immersing yourself into the past and being able to reach the past through like meditation or your self hypnosis. I guess that's what it would be. And so in the movie Time and Again, he did that, and then there's another movie, there's another book, there's other things. Anyway, there's other things out there based on time travel. He wasn't the first one. Oh, and Back to the Future and all that. But no one's ever been able to really say and prove that there's time travel. It's kind of disappointing because I literally have always wanted to experience it, as long as it's safe and you can come back. And I've tried to think of the theory of how you could time travel. But obviously, it's not something that's going to be easy. And if it was easy, we would have done it already. If it was viable, doable, we would have done it already. However, the people who could do it would, as we know, we have very crooked, very corrupt people who would take it and make money off it or use it to make money, like Back to the Future 2, where Biff takes the bets, the book of like horse racing, wins and goes into the, what does he do? Goes into the future because he steals it from Marty. Whatever. Hopefully you're still with me. Okay, is time travel possible? No. So I've thought about this a long time, and I've had my own experiences where I have, in sort of a mental, meditative way, through music and things like that, reach time. I feel like the best way that we currently have to time travel in the current form that we have, this is the most immersive way, is through old magazines, because I've done that, uh, listening to music, old movies, videos, totally immersing yourself. You have to immerse yourself in it. And then you could kind of feel like you have transported yourself to that time. I've done it many times. Music probably is like the fastest, best way to do that. But physically, you're not there. We all know that. We all know that physically we can't at this point time travel. And I've asked why. Why is that? Okay, so here's what I figured out. So your life is like a game board. So it really is like the game of life. If you've never seen it, there's a board game like Monopoly or what have you, but there's a board game called Life. And you have a piece and you have a car and you travel on each space till you get to the end. It winds around and loops around. There's bridges and things like that. And you loop around, you play the game, gain money, lose money, etc. until you get to the end. And whoever has the most money and gets to like the biggest mansion or whatever, is the winner. And life is like that game. So your life is like a game board. The time of your life is like a game board. And now past lives are like different game boards that you've played on. So you've played on Monopoly in a past life. And maybe before that you played Chutes and Ladders, if you remember that game, or Clue, the game Clue. And those are your past lives. You are physically the game piece, and that is moving along the board, the game. Now, your game piece can't really go back. Um, so physically, you can't really go back in time physically. Um, and I've asked why this is. Why is it? Because it would create a carbon copy. And if everybody was doing that, there would be all these carbon copies of your experience. And it would create an echo and almost like a feedback, like your music when the microphones have that high-pitched feedback. And so there would be all these jacked up echoes of people repeating time over and over again. So physically, we're only allowed to keep moving forward. But you are like the player. So that's physically you in time. But you're also like the player. Your oversoul, your spiritual self, is like the person looking over the entire game and looking over your game piece. So that's where your spiritual self could go back in time and experience this past part of your life, and then your past lives and how that game went and everything, etc. And you're moving the piece. It keeps moving forward, but you literally can mentally, spiritually experience the time, have the feelings, smell the smells, remember the memories, the sights in your mind. And that's how we currently can time travel. Also, the game is like how the paths of the game can wind around and align with the old parts. Like, oh, I'm right next to the part where I'm up here, but I'm right next to the part where I started the game, or I'm right here next to the part where I got a new car or got married. And so you could feel it. It's like the cogs of the wheel of time all meet together and align together. And you remember that. So in some ways, it almost is like the time imprint, the time activity is still there. It's still on the game board, but your piece can't go back to it. If you know what I'm talking about, if you get what I'm saying. Now, timeline shifts happen. And what is that? That's where, have you ever played a game, a board game, where your piece shifts a little and you didn't see it, and you can't remember if you were on this spot or the two forward or the two back or whatnot, and you've just gotten off your piece just a little bit, or you're placed in the game, and you roll with it, and then you end up back on the right spot again or the wrong spot again or what have you. That's like timeline shifts. It doesn't really affect the game. It just gives you a bit of a different, it slows you down. You know what I mean? It slows you down or speeds you up forward into the game. Can we ever physically be that timepiece? Can we ever, without causing feedback, without causing carbon copies that would disrupt our life and other people's lives, can we ever experience physically a past time event again? That's the hard question. I don't know if it's possible. I think that it's only possible if you were to create another version of the game board, and a game piece of yourself, but then it would be different. See, that's the part where it's always a little bit like, I don't know. But I do know this, that the best way currently to time travel is to relax and allow yourself to remember and feel it again and experience it. It's always there. It's always there on the game board of your life. But physically, you can't literally physically experience it again. And what about, like a movie like Bill and Ted, where they go back and they see Genghis Khan, and then they see Beethoven, and they see, these different, and Napoleon Bonaparte, and how would they do that if it's not their life? And that's the thing. It would be hard to experience someone else's past. You would have to be a spectator, and you just wouldn't know enough about it. It's only things that are on your own alignment of your path, your timeline, your game board. However, if you knew enough, like I know a lot about the Beatles, and I could transport, and I feel like I have actually transported myself. But see, it's mostly mental and spiritual, meditative. I do feel like I've done it. I feel like I have immersed myself enough into these past times, and with the full confidence of I'm experiencing this, maybe because I wanted to, that I actually did in some way travel through time. I know this sounds weird, but this is literally what I have. I am. Okay, so again, I don't think that you can physically, so let's say it's like the game, it's like the TV show Fantasy Island. they go on Fantasy Island, and he says, "And what is your dearest wish? How can I make your dearest wish come true?" And they say, "Well, I really want to get back with my ex, Josh." And he says, "Are you sure you want that?" And they say, "Yeah, I came all the way here. Of course, that's what I want. I want to get back together with Josh." And he says, "Well, Josh, wasn't very nice to you, and your life seems to be calm now. Are you sure you want to go back there?" "Yes, I want to go back with Josh." So then he gives them their wish, and their wish begins. And they start to play out this whole scenario of meeting everything they want. They meet Josh again. He woos them. He's nice to them. He's all the things that they wanted him to be, but in reality, he really wasn't. And so then they just end up with heartbreak again, or something happens to Josh, or it all just goes, it's all screwed up. Okay. I wonder if getting what you want and physically going to time and trying to experience something again, like, let's say in your life, you were in love with Jennifer and you really want to go back and be with her again, but the problem is Jennifer never loved you. Jennifer never treated you right. So, would revisiting time hurt you and take something from you and take away some part of your life force? I think I'll just post that and leave it at that. And let you ponder on it and let me know what you think about time travel and theories that you have, and if you think it's possible. Thanks for watching. Bye.